It's got the system in it. It's rocking. Yeah, I had squirrels living in the car. A tree grew through the bottom of the car. Like, it was sitting in the driveway so long that a little bush that was in the driveway came through a crack, actually grew through the car. Here it is, all redone. Back rocking.
How'd you go about restoring?
Somehow Monica, my mother, Claudine, they all got together and, got with Will. And he was like, yo, I do it, blah, blah, blah. I was like, can you do it? Because it was like kind of iffy. What does it symbolize for you? At that time, it was determination. That's what it says on the gas tank on the other side. To make it and to be successful, you got to be determined. You can't give up. You can't get frustrated. You know what I'm saying? Even when it's frustrating. Trust. This represented a lot of that to me because I got a lot of doors slammed in my face.
It being right here, what does it represent for you?
Anything's possible. Right. I remember, getting in an accident at Andrew Jackson High School and, getting in a fist fight with a dude and, ended up in a precinct over this. You know what I mean? And now it's in a rock hall. You know what I mean? So,
see?
Yeah.
You was protecting something.
Amen.
I mean,
this is a pretty dope, interesting story in hip-hop, in my opinion, man. LL Cool J, one of the greats, one of the best to ever do it, man. Back from the beginning of Def Jam Records and just the longevity in his career, which he just kind of rededicated himself full-time back to the hip-hop, to the art form and everything, as, he did acting and all that other stuff. And not so long ago, whatever CSI or whatever the show was, NCIS, I can't recall that he was on. The contract came to an end or the show came to an end, and he decided, man, there's been gaps in my discography when I've been dropping music. I want to get really back to this. And that's when we saw him drop his most recent project where he collabed with Eminem on that Murdergram joint, which is fire, man. That really truly is. And a couple years ago, back in 2021, LL was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and for this Hall of Fame exhibit, this dope ass Audi you're looking at, which to me, and they speak about that. This is just a clip of the presentation where they speak about this whip. Like, they talk about how hip hop has always had a connection to dope cars, as individuals were trying to level up in life and make dope music and make money and become larger than life and advance hip hop as a whole. And, a really dope car that is something extraordinary kind of represented that in a sense, you know what I mean? It ain't all about the riches and luxuries and stuff like that, but they're nice to have. And you know what I mean? When someone's coming out of a tough situation, luxury kind of can represent that in many ways. Materialistic things, which we know they are truly not everything, but we see a lot of rappers with the Benzes, the Maybachs, the Bentleys, Rolls Royces and all that on the West Coast, the low riders and just all these different vehicles, right? But the Audi, was it a 5,000 or whatever way back then, just was some kind of different in my opinion. And you see LL Cool J has it painted up with determination and all that. And this comes back from that second project, the Bad album, Bigger and Deffer. And he had it sitting in storage all these years, and he's fully restored it for this exhibit. He spoke about how it means and represents a lot to him that after, when the money first started coming in, he got his mom a house and a car, but this Audi was the big first purchase for himself. So it's something really special to him. And with him all these years later getting back into hip hop full time and pulling this thing out of storage and doing this whole project, is just pretty interesting to see LL still at it all these years later. And I think that this exhibit is a pretty lit idea as well. And I hope LL gets another project out soon. Like I stated, when he dropped this album that has Murdergram on it, there was some interviews and stuff that he did where he was talking about how when he got away from music as his number one priority and became real big in acting, there became bigger gaps in when the projects would come out. But here in the 2020s, the mid 2020s now, he's trying to, rededicate himself. And with all that being said, and where hip hop is at and everything, and this exhibit and this project with the car and this shared story being shared with the world, you know, especially to individuals that maybe weren't around back then and aren't fully up on LL Cool J and who he is as a whole. You know, I'm sure everyone knows who LL is, but some of the younger generations might not really know who LL is and what he represents in hip hop and all that and history, and you know, so I think this is pretty dope. What do you think? Do you remember back when this project came out? You know what I mean? What do you think of the Audi and the whole exhibit and just LL's career as a whole? Favorite moments, favorite tracks, albums? Let's talk about it all in the comments. Subscribe. It's Coffee. I'm up out of here.